Hello, hello, and welcome everyone. Once again, this is GameVidExpo. Thank you for joining us here. I hope you guys have been having a great time between yesterday and all the cool people we saw come through, the great panels we had yesterday. We already had some great stuff today as well. Just a quick heads up, this upcoming hour there will be signings over in the signing area if you guys haven't checked that out yet. I believe right now we have the Dead Workers Party. We'll be doing signings and sorry. Once again, that's right outside this door and to the left, and they'll be there for the next hour, so definitely check them out if you can. Right now, we have the lovely lolRenaynay and Mr. GassyMexican here to do a quick interview panel for us, so let's hear from him.
Thank you guys so much for taking part in this panel, and as always with these panels, I like to just give you guys the beginning to introduce yourselves.
Sure. I'm GassyMexican, otherwise known as Max Gonzalez. I've been doing YouTube and Twitch for a long time, probably about 4.5 to 5 years, and I make silly videos, and sometimes you guys watch them. That's kind of it.
My name's Renee Renosa, or lolRenaynay, or lolRenaynay, or Renunu, whatever, I don't know. I'm a Twitch caster primarily, and also YouTube on the side. I've been on Twitch since Justin TV, and with YouTube for about 3 years or so, and I make stupider videos than Max does.
Debatable.
Well, awesome. I guess to start off, what sort of content do you guys, how would you kind of classify your YouTube channels? Kind of variety gaming, or is there anything particular you try to do with your videos?
I'd say it probably applies to both me and Renee. We're kind of variety channels. We don't try to build the channel just based on one game. And that works for a lot of people, but for me, if I were to do something like that, I always feel the need to mix it up, you know? Mm-hmm. I always try to keep it different and entertaining as possible, but yeah, I guess just variety channel, not really sure what's going to go on there, but I always try to make it as entertaining as possible. So.
I get bored very easily, so I play any game that isn't currently boring me. So I'll play one game for 2 days and another game for 2 weeks and one game for an hour.
How are you enjoying Dark Souls right now?
Don't talk to me about Dark Souls.
Well, I want to ask both of you. Obviously, you guys are very successful right now, but you didn't always start like this. How did you get from being just a normal person playing games at home to where you are right now today?
You want to go first?
I started doing YouTube when I started in the Call of Duty community because I started playing MW2, and that's when I discovered that people made videos on YouTube about how to properly run a map and all this stuff in Call of Duty. So that kind of inspired me to start my channel. Prior to that, I was a student at a community college going for a graphic design degree, which I liked when I was younger and in high school, but once I actually graduated, I was like, this is really boring for me. So I was like, one thing I do love is video games, so how can I try and make some sort of career out of this? And I considered going into PR and all this other stuff, but then YouTube and all that stuff kind of appeared, and I realized that, wow, people actually laugh at my jokes, and it's not just me anymore, so.
It's because you're funny.
Not that funny.
You're pretty funny. I think.
Okay, I'm pretty funny.
But,
hilarious.
Is that, you good?
Go ahead.
All right. For me, kind of similar story. I always knew I wanted to do something in media or, doing maybe radio or voiceover or just anything involving media. Obviously, I like games. I used to be, if you want a track record of what I was before I did any YouTube stuff, I was a deck laborer. I was a busboy. I worked at Home Depot for a while, and then all the time through that, I was balancing that and just putting up videos and stuff. I guess I got my start doing machinima, proper machinima, which is, a lot of people kind of forget what that word means, but it's making movies in the video game engine and just kind of playing around with characters and stuff. So I do Halo 2 machinima, just making silly jokes and stuff like that. And the first thing I even recorded on was a DVD recorder. So that was my ghetto way of recording. I had a DVD recorder where I would throw in the disc and then record it onto the disc and then rip it off, and it was super ghetto. But anyways, I started doing that. I did glitch videos and stuff like that. And then, yeah, I was that guy who was in Halo 2 servers with the glitch mod and stuff like that. So I did that. And I really enjoyed it, doing that, just the process of making videos, editing, and doing all that stuff. So I kept going with that, and then eventually the whole boom of gameplay and stuff like that happened, and I figured, why not try it? I always gamed with my brother when we did game, so we always riffed and talked to each other and stuff like that, so commentary wasn't that, out of the question. It wasn't too different, so talking to myself came kind of natural in a weird way. So I did that. And yeah, just kind of met some really cool people, some friends that are still here today. I'm sure you guys are aware who the Creatures are. I was a part of them. It was very fun, and now I'm doing my own thing, and it's going great. So yeah.
So early on, like, I know I'm interested to know, do you have any video that you kind of remember that was like your first sort of, it got a ton of views, or you put it out, all of a sudden, like, you realized people were watching it? Was there any sort of, like, milestone video in your library?
I don't know. Do you have one? It's hard to pinpoint one out of like 2,000 something.
My very first video was on my older channel called Miss Doesn't Miss, which was my like very first YouTube channel.
So elite. So elite.
And that's where I first started getting like a following like that channel. Before I shut it down, was like close to 20K followers, which is small times I guess now, like for where I am now, but at the time that was crazy, and that was because I did like one video where I went like 40 and I went like flawless. It was Call of Duty back then. It was really cool.
Did you do 360 no scopes?
No.
You did 720 no scopes, right?
I was just really, really stupid good at that game.
Yeah.
And now I go back and I'm
she's
horrible.
She's much better than me at that.
And I can't play it anymore. So yeah, that video kind of, a lot of people saw that video and saw my channel and found me, and that's how I sort of made a lot of friends in the Call of Duty community, and then outside of that community, and that sort of skyrocketed my start.
Yeah. Like I said, it's kind of hard for me to pinpoint one video. I guess when it started taking off a lot, I was playing a lot of Minecraft and stuff like that. One video that for some reason, it's weird with YouTube too, because like you'll put a lot of effort into some other videos, and you're like, all right, I hope a lot of people watch it, and it could get like whatever kind of views. But sometimes you can't predict what people are really, really going to like. And one of those was just me and Dan's News, if you guys know who he is. We were messing around in a Minecraft server, and there was a creeper that was just not acting right. It was just like being really passive and like wasn't attacking us and stuff like this. And this is way before that's a common thing. I think it was like Charlie the Nice Creeper or something like that. I don't know. Maybe you guys have seen that video, but it was just one of those things. We put it up as a joke, and then like 50,000 views, 100,000 views, 200, like it kept going and stuff like that. So that was kind of a moment too where I'm like, wow, people are interested in watching us do silly shenanigans in games like Minecraft and stuff. So that was, I guess, one video that I could pinpoint where people took an interest more than I thought they would.
Well, I know both of you described yourselves earlier by saying, we just put up silly videos of us playing games and things like that, but there are a lot of aspiring people that, look up to you guys and they think, okay, I want to do what they're doing, but how can I be like them, or how do I get to where they are? So if you guys had to describe what made you guys stand out, or why you guys are so appealing to an audience, what do you think that is?
I would say a lot of people, this is kind of the advice that I give to most people who want to start in YouTube. I'll be honest and say the landscape has changed a lot from what it used to be. There's a lot more people trying to do it, which is good, but in a way you have to stand out a lot more and try to differentiate yourself from everybody else that's trying to do it. And I guess what's appealing about our videos, I don't know, what is like we just have fun with our friends,
Yeah,
we try to be ourselves as much as possible.
I guess one of the great part about our videos and our whole dynamic of the people that we play with is that our videos are very organic in the sense of humor that we have. I mean, we all really balance and bounce off of each other really well. And I think if either one of us was doing this just on our own, not playing with any of our friends, I feel like we wouldn't be nearly as successful as we are now. I mean, our friends and the people we've met in this community have really made us who we are. And I think that's probably if I had like one tip for anyone who wanted to get into this, it's to be open to anyone you meet and just make a ton of friends. I mean, like when I first started doing this, I was extremely shy, and I didn't like the idea of like a camera being in my face, and like even just my close friends seeing videos of me in like on the internet like freaked me out. But it just got to a point where I just said, screw it. Like, what I'm missing out on so much by being so, like, introverted and shy. So I'm just going to put myself out there, and it ended up working in my favor. And
Yeah.
I mean, most of the time when you do that, it's going to work in your favor.
Yeah, getting used to hearing your voice recorded. No one likes that the first time, too. Like when
I
you
still
start
hate my
out.
voice.
I like your voice. It's good.
It's gross.
Voice crack right there. I don't know if you guys heard that voice crack. But yeah, it's one of those things. Like it's a common fear with most people when you're starting out, because it's not a natural thing to do, to just sit behind a mic. You're playing by yourself. No one's around. Like if you're doing a single commentary or whatever, and just talk to yourself. Like that's not a normal thing to do, and it takes a bit of time to get used to that. You know, so practice makes perfect, and like she said, be open to doing new things. Get out of your comfort zone. It's hard. I know it's easy to say, easier said than done. But honestly, that's what you got to do. You gotta get out of your comfort zone and try new things and be open to meeting new people.
So a lot of times people forget that to run a successful YouTube channel, there's a lot that goes in on the back end, like making thumbnails and
Right.
descriptions and editing and that sort of thing. If you had to give any advice to anyone here who's maybe thinking of getting into YouTube themselves, like what's something that kind of took you by surprise that you had to learn to kind of master, I guess, for YouTube?
Batch rendering.
Batch rendering, yeah, I guess. Like consistency really is what it kind of boils down to, and that's just one word. And like you said, there's a lot of work that goes behind it. It's funny to me when I see comments that are like, "What are you complaining about? You just play video games for a living." You're right. I do play video games for a living, and it's awesome. Like I love it. But there is a lot of work that goes involved with it. Like for instance, when I'm coming to a convention like this, where I got like 5 days I have to be away from doing videos and stuff like that. I was up till like 2:30, 3 in the morning, working for like 5 hours straight, 6 hours. I don't even know. It could have been longer than that. You forget when it gets to the wee hours in the morning. But yeah, like that's all uploading, setting your descriptions, making thumbnails. Oh, a render screwed up. I have to re-render that and go back and do it all. There's a whole lot to it. But I would say learning to be consistent, trying to figure out a workflow that works for you. So for me, like obviously there's real life. We have real life stuff that we want to do, like walk our dog,
You have a dog.
or spend time together, not just at the computer. So it's a balancing act of that. And yeah, it's a lot just finding out what works best for you, learning programs and stuff like that. It's practice makes perfect, but yeah, it's a lot to. I'm sure if there's during the Q&A, if people have specific questions, I'd have no problem answering it. Because there's a lot to answer, like, to be honest.
And as far as live streaming, not even on the YouTube, because we both do Twitch as well.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't really require any editing or uploading or any of that, but the act of live streaming is an extremely draining process.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, because it's essentially you're playing a video game. The only difference is you have a camera in front of you. But when I get done with like a 4 or 5 hour stream, I want to sleep for like 10 years. It just takes so much out of you. So waking up every day and saying, okay, I need to turn on my lights, I need to set up my green screen, I need to make sure all this is in line, I need to make sure all my plugins for my streaming program are working, I need to make sure I'm reading the chat, am I being too interactive, am I not playing the game enough, am I being shitty at the game? Like it weighs very heavily on you, but it's still, I wouldn't want to have any other job in the world.
Yeah.
Well, you were mentioning consistency, and obviously you guys are both on Twitch and YouTube. So what does a normal daily schedule look like for you guys, barring conventions or attendances or things like that? How would you say that your schedule looks like?
It differs a little bit between me and her, because she does a lot of Twitch, more so than YouTube right now. But for me, it's YouTube, and YouTube is probably where I sink the most man hours, because it takes, like we covered, it takes a lot of time to like put all the videos together, upload them, all that stuff that's involved with putting up videos on YouTube. So for Twitch, the way I try to balance it out is whenever I have spare time that's, not, walking the dog or spending time together, anything that's the remainder, as much as I can throughout, like Monday through Friday, I try to stream. And we usually, some people might be familiar with Left Up Friday that we do. It's a silly streaming that we do where we have some drinks and play games and be silly. So that's kind of like a regular thing that happens. There's some shows like that I'm trying to do. That's like every Friday at 7:30. So that's one thing that's like always every week, unless we have something else going on. But other than that, I try to stream when I have the time. Like in the evening when I'm done recording and editing and stuff for the next day. So that's what I do. But hers is a little bit different than the way I do it.
For me, I have this weird thing where I can't actually work until my entire area is clean. and I have to make sure that the animals are fed and the dog is walked. So I usually don't actually start officially working until about like 1 or 2 o'clock, and that's when I'll set everything up, and then I'll try and figure out a game and everything like that. So it's like because typically I'll do all my home stuff in the morning and afternoon, and then I'll stream into like 11 o'clock, and then I'll go to sleep. So
yeah, it's also dependent on how late we go to bed the night before, because like you guys, I'm sure we're night owls. We naturally want to stay awake, but then you pay for it in the morning.
Yeah, so either I'll be starting my live stream super exhausted, or I'll be starting my live stream perfectly awake. It depends. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So, like you mentioned earlier, you guys play a variety of games on your channel. If there was any particular, like, kind of offshoot indie game that seemed kind of silly, but you had a good time playing that you want, like, you know, to give a shout out to, was there anything that would strike your mind for that?
Goat Simulator.
Goat Simulator. Actually, yeah, Goat Simulator.
Goat Simulator.
I haven't played a lot of it. If you guys don't know what it is, it's basically you're just a goat and you run around, and your objective is to just destroy and cause as much havoc as possible. So shout out to, I think, Coffee Stain Studios, who made it. They made Sanctum 2, if you guys know what that game is too. But yeah, you run around as a goat and you just smash things and like go on trampolines and you can throw it into slow motion and stuff. It's a ridiculous game.
And when you go up ladders, you're like the mechanics of
Your
the
neck,
goat's
like,
neck
freaks
breaks
out.
and it like fucks up. When
Yeah, it's silly. But yeah, Goat Simulator. I actually downloaded it in the hotel room.
He was playing it last night.
And it was running so crappily on my laptop.
It is the most amazing and dumbest game in the entire world, but I love it.
Goat Simulator right now. I don't know. You played some Brothers.
Yeah,
Brothers,
Brothers
A Tale
is
of
a
Two
really
Sons?
awesome game. Most people, I think a lot of people agree that that's an awesome game. Right now I'm playing through Dark Souls, which I wouldn't ever recommend anyone ever playing in their entire life.
How many deaths are you on? 55?
55
56?
deaths, which is actually pretty good
80?
considering where I am.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good. I'm planning on playing Dark Souls eventually, so
Oh, that's going to be great.
lots of yelling and frustration.
I'm just going to leave the house.
Malcolm's going to come into the room while I'm like at a particularly bad part, and he's going to be like, Dad, I have to pay. Get away, Malcolm! Get away!
I'm just going to keep him away from you.
It's for his own protection.
You're
I don't want to
burn
accidentally
the entire
hit him.
house down.
But yeah, those are some of the games that some indie games. I'm trying to think of some other titles. I know people like Spelunky, but that's supposed to be really hard. I've thought about playing that game. I don't know.
I was playing Banished on my stream before
Yeah,
Dark
Banished.
Souls, and a lot of people liked that because my town was called the Asshole. So I would just call my citizens assholes, and yeah, that was pretty
Yeah.
sweet. That's an awesome game. It's really simplistic, so you kind of have to make your own fun and kind of make your own assumptions about what the hell's going on. But that's a really great game that I enjoyed a lot.
Plague Inc., I guess, is another one. Plague Inc. It's I'm sure a lot of you guys probably played it on mobile, but I don't know if that's I guess it's considered indie. I guess I don't know. It's a little more high profile now, but that's really fun. If you guys don't know what that is, you're basically your job is to destroy the world with a disease. So mine was called Latin Fire because I'm half Mexican.
Latin Fire.
Yeah, Latin Fire. You're gonna catch Latin Fire. It's fine.
Torek did one where his was called Hentai.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
And he destroyed the world with hentai.
Yeah. It took me three tries to do it, but you can like evolve your disease and like immunity things. It's really cool if you haven't checked it out. It's on Steam now. It took me 3 tries. So Latin Fire Mark III took over the world. So hopefully that doesn't actually happen. Latin Fire will get you guys.
So with how big you guys have gotten, I'm sure you guys have dealt with all kinds of fans, and hopefully I'm sure most of it is positive, but of course with the internet comes a lot of sort of negative attention as well. And I know that some people like Total Biscuit have been very vocal against the kind of criticism he may receive, and I Am Spoon has mentioned that he actually is a fan of actually talking to them directly. So I'm curious to see how you guys personally deal with it. I know that people react to it in different ways.
So just our reception to fans and criticism?
So I guess the main question is, how do you deal with kind of the negative attention that sometimes arrives?
Oh. A lot of doing what we do is to have thick skin. So, I mean, if you're planning on getting into this, one thing I would say, too, is try not to let just silly comments and stuff like that get to you. And it's hard sometimes, too, because, like...
Especially if you're having, like, if you're already having a rough day.
Yeah.
And then, like, on the comment section, it's just somebody saying, like, you're stupid, you're ugly, or whatever. Like, that that would, on a good day, you'd just be like, screw that guy. But on a bad day, that was like a, well,
We
am
go
I?
through moods too, like, you know. A lot of people too think we don't look at our comments, and a lot of times I don't, because
I don't anymore.
It's a cesspool a lot of times.
It's
but
awful.
sometimes, I mean, I do go through them and try to like skim them at least a little bit. But you know, as the channel grows and stuff like that on YouTube, it's harder to do that. But my general policy for it is just don't let it affect me. Like it's just it's going to come with doing what we do. Like you have to have tough skin. You have to be able to take your shits and just throw them out the window and just not care. But yeah, sometimes, like you said, when you get in certain moods and stuff like that, we're people, we're human beings. So sometimes we're having a cruddier day, and you know, you might not even be looking for it. That's the thing too. Like on Twitter, you could be just browsing through your Twitter feed, and you have someone just saying something. And there's no way to filter that. You know, you can't filter that. So you just take the good with the bad, and thankfully, there's mainly good.
So Max, I know you mentioned earlier that you used to be part of the Creatures.
Yes.
I'd be interested to hear, like, are there any specific experiences you had making content as a group, and do you have any specific sort of like, I guess, suggestions for people that might want to get into group content? Is it easier, harder?
That's the thing too. It kind of goes back to what we were talking about on the content we make, because we all kind of like, we have a bunch of friends that do the same thing that we do. I mean, Sam right there, I am Spoon. Spoonerism was around here before. He's part of the Creatures and stuff like that. So it's
My Diction,
definitely.
who's not here.
What's that?
Eat My Diction, who's not here.
Eat My Diction, who's not
Rest
here.
in pieces.
Rip in peace, man. He's not dead.
He's
I'm
not
sorry.
actually dead. He's probably in the chat.
No, but when you're making group content and stuff like that, it's definitely a lot easier. There are different difficulties that come with it too, because everybody has their own schedule and their lifestyles and stuff like that. But overall, it's definitely a good thing to do. Like we said, when you work together and naturally, like it's much more organic. You know what I mean? Like you're able to riff off somebody. Not that I don't mind doing videos every now and then on my own, but when you do group content and you get good friends that you know your personalities click and stuff like that, it works a lot better in your favor. So I would suggest doing that. Know that it can be hard because everybody gets in their moods and circumstances change and stuff like that. So be aware of that. But definitely group content is a very good thing. I don't regret any of my time with the Creatures. I mean, I'm doing my own thing now. They're doing their own thing, and it's working well. But I don't regret any of the time that I spent with them, and I'm not delusional in the fact that I wouldn't be where I am today without doing that. It was still a really good experience.
Well, just looking back on your guys' career, obviously there are people that aren't familiar with gaming or don't know as much on how much it's grown, whether with YouTube, Twitch, or even esports. They may not be as familiar, and they may say something like, oh, what are you going to do with that in so-and-so years? But if you were to say something to them, like what your hopes for the next 5 years or 10 years are?
It's thankfully what we do. I mean, we've gotten that before too, like where we have friends that are like, aren't you worried about job stability and stuff like that?
I mean, I think about that every day.
Yeah, I mean, I still think about it too, but when I think about that, I think about the other side of it too, where we're in an industry that's constantly growing. There's no real precedent for what we do. So there's nothing that says like, well, these people failed, because there's no definite track of us failing or whatever. Like it's a possibility, but it's the same thing with any other job. Like someone could be working a suit job at like, some firm or whatever. They don't necessarily have job stability. They can get fired, you know what I mean? Like that's with anything. There's no guarantee with anything. But thankfully, like it's something we both love doing and we have a passion for, so it doesn't always feel like work. It doesn't, it's not a big deal to put in all those hours making videos and stuff like that. So, but for the future, where I would like to see it go, and thankfully something that's kind of already happening, is developers and like AAA studios and stuff like that taking us a little more seriously, recognizing the value of reaching out to YouTubers and using us as a means to get their game out there and seen by a bunch of eyeballs and stuff like that. So, I mean, that's what we do. We play games, and we want to be able to play the games that are the best, you know what I mean? So I think that's happening. It's something that's definitely changing a lot. And there's even, like we've mentioned before, our friend Northern Lion LP, some of you guys might be familiar with him. He gave a really good talk at GDC, and I think this is another talk that he did it's like some Vancouver thing.
Some Canadian thing.
Some Canadian thing. I'm sorry if there are any Canadians in the audience. But he gave a talk about how, just basically how developers can approach us and like recognize our value. He had like a bunch of statistics and stuff like that showing like, okay, this is the game before anybody played stuff on it, and this is the game after a bunch of videos went up on it. So it's something that I think they're starting to get, But I'd like to see more developers and AAA, people. Not to discredit the indies, because we all love indie titles. But I'd like to see that happen a little bit more with ourselves and them connecting.
So speaking on game developers and just what's upcoming in the future, do you guys have any specific, I know there's a lot of really cool games coming out in 2014, anything specifically on your radar that you're looking forward to covering on your channel?
I'm waiting for Fallout 4 whenever that
Fallout 4.
happens. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I want it
I
so
think
badly.
everybody's waiting for Fallout 4.
I can taste it.
You can hear the murmurs among the crowd.
Brink 2. Shut up, Sam. Get out of here.
Brink 2.
Leave.
Bring it.
You get out.
How upset would you be if their big announcement is just Brink 2?
I will go over there and I will write a very strongly worded letter.
Exclamation point. Yeah. Watch Dogs looks cool. I'm sure everybody is waiting for Watch Dogs. I know they pushed it back a lot, but hopefully that's for good reason. There's obviously there's the bittersweet thing where we want the game to come out fast, but we also don't want it to be crap. So I mean, development takes a long time. So Watch Dogs. What else? There's other things. There's lots of games coming out. I just can't think of them right now.
I only care about Fallout 4.
Yeah.
Literally the only game I've been thinking about since I finished Fallout 3.
A new Mass Effect game. I mean, that's nothing that's been officially announced or whatever. They've announced that they're working on something, but no, for 2014.
Yeah, that'll be sweet.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I really am looking forward to. Hopefully they'll go. I think they mentioned it too before in the post on BioWare, but they said they're straying away from the whole Commander Shepard storyline. So I want a new experience, So, but I don't know. What are you looking forward to in 2014?
Me?
I'm putting you on the spot now.
Oh, wow.
Another panel.
Well, I'm actually a huge RPG nerd, so
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to Dragon Age.
Yeah.
The new Dragon Age, definitely The Witcher. Titanfall, I know that's already out. I haven't had a chance to play yet. I'm actually playing Dark Souls 2 right now, so I kind of feel your pain over there.
I'm waiting for it to come out on PC, but I have to finish Dark Souls 1, so that won't be for another 5 years.
And of course, there's tons of MOBAs coming out. Smite just came out. I'm not a pro player in any way or form, but I like to play a lot and yell at my screen.
I'd like to get better at Smite too, actually.
So
maybe we can play together.
That's it for me. RPGs all the way.
Yeah. How about you?
I feel bad because obviously everyone here is for you guys. So I'll just say I'm looking forward to Evolve just because I like co-op games and I love playing with my boyfriend and my friends and all that stuff. But I did want to ask you guys. You guys brought up all these different games and they're all different genres. And I know Renee, you said you started out with Call of Duty and FPS, but is there a particular genre that you kind of look forward to the most?
I still love the FPS genre. Titanfall I love Titanfall so much. That's probably one of the best
You did a
shooters
24-hour stream of it.
Yeah, I played it for 24 hours straight. But ever since MW2, nothing's come close to that. So Titanfall is the next step for me. Aside from that, I mean, RPGs are kind of my one thing that I really love. Specifically, like with skill trees, the way Fallout is made. Fallout is my dream game. I'm widely obsessed with the post-apocalyptic world, and I love the 40s and 50s genres, the retro post-apocalyptic combination was just it felt like this game was made for me. So that's mainly why I'm so excited for Fallout 4, is because that game really gave me an opportunity to you can play as any sort of character you want. You can still get through the game doing whatever. You can shoot guns like you would in any other game, or you can decide to go through the entire level with a baseball bat, or the entire game through a baseball bat, and that's such an awesome thing to be able to do in an RPG.
Drink dirty water.
Drink dirty water, become irradiated.
Break your leg by jumping off of, what's that one?
That's for in the very beginning when you're making
I know,
a survival guide.
I'm just trying to remember the name of the town. What is it? The one with the bomb in it, atom bomb.
Oh.
Megaton. Thank you. Yeah, that.
I'm on the spot, so I forgot.
Yeah, it's fine. My brain's mush up here too.
Yeah.
For me, I tend to go with you as well, Gabe, with RPGs. Mass Effect, naturally. Fallout as well. Anything that comes out, especially how crazy in-depth games are getting now, just the new technology where they're able to have crazy different branches and story arcs and stuff like that. That's completely different. I'm looking forward to seeing what the new Mass Effect title will hold for that. But I get really invested in games that have really good stories and character development and stuff like that. Naturally, I'm I'm really attracted to good voiceover and stuff like that. So when I hear a character that has an amazing voice or even just a great performance and stuff like that, then like I get lost in it all the more.
We also really like, you know, any good multiplayer games too.
Yeah,
Since we do
absolutely.
play a lot with our friends, like Speedrunners is probably one of the
The best and worst game ever.
Yeah, it's up there with like with Mario Party in that it might actually ruin your
It
friendship.
tests your friendship. If you guys don't know what it is,
I hate Sam right now
Yeah,
because
Sam.
he's so good at speedrunners.
I'm sure some of you guys.
Also,
have seen
he
him
never
play.
drinks during Effed Up Friday, so we're all like, you know,
We're smashed. And
kind
we're
of
like,
tipsy. Okay, I'm tipsy. Max
We're
is
trying.
smashed.
You know, it varies. It varies.
And Sam
I'll
is
be honest.
completely sober and destroying us, so we're just like, this is not fair at all. So he's banned from playing speedrunners with us. Aside from that, War of the Vikings is also a really good
War of the
multiplayer
Vikings
game.
is cool from Paradox.
Once you can get the hang of it, it's a really awesome game.
Yeah, naturally stuff like Gary's Mod and stuff like that. It's multiplayer, like
Prop Hunt and
Prop Hunt,
TTT.
very user-based, like modding, community-friendly, where they can create their own game types and stuff like that. There's some other games that we've talked to from people that we met at GDC that sounds really interesting. I don't think I can really talk about it, but there's cool stuff coming, guys. There's really cool stuff coming, especially for those of you guys that like Gary's Mod and stuff like that. So games like that where it's very easy to be silly and mess around with each other in game. You know, like Prop Hunt. It's just great.
So I'm curious, just like on your own free time, you guys are, you know, accomplished YouTubers yourselves. Is there any specific channel or YouTuber that you guys like to watch when, you know, you're just relaxing, or that's someone that interests you on YouTube?
We don't watch a whole lot of YouTube. It's this weird thing when you do create content, you don't watch a lot of other people on
I watch
on
a lot
YouTube.
more Twitch streams.
A lot more
than
Twitch streams.
YouTube
And I'll give a shout out
channels.
to Man vs. Game
Yeah, we watch a lot of Man vs. Game.
with his man cave people.
Surly bastards.
You surly bastards! Welcome to the man cave. It's not called a man cave. I just like saying that.
Upset again.
I hope he's not watching. No, I hope he's watching. No, Man vs. Game. He's also playing Dark Souls 2. And
I mean,
grinding through
we
that.
watch all of our friends whenever they stream and try and support them and all that stuff. And then most of the time when I'm bored, if nobody that I know is streaming or if they're streaming a game that I'm not really interested in, I'll just kind of browse the channels. And that's one of the great things about Twitch is that you can just say, I really feel like watching somebody play like Super Mario 64, and guarantee there's a speedrunner doing it, or I want to watch somebody play, you know, any random game, even if you hadn't played it for 5 years, there's guaranteed at least one person playing it. And I like to just go to like the smaller channels and check out their stuff, and if they're particularly like really great at what they do, it's an awesome platform to be able to like help those like smaller channels be recognized and stuff.
There's a lot of really good undiscovered, you know, people that are out there doing Twitch streams. I'll mention a group that we're kind of connected with. We know some people a part of it. It's called the Hidden Gems on Twitch. They're kind of a group that it's a lot of really entertaining, really good casters, and it's a team that you can check out. So if you guys are looking for new people to watch on Twitch, check out the Hidden Gems.
They're all like the whole part of Hidden Gems is that you're unpartnered, so they're all
Exactly
like,
right.
They're all like very small channels.
So it's
that
kind
are,
of like
that are really,
a group to help get you on the path to being partnered and help you succeed and stuff like that.
yeah,
So
they're an awesome group of folks.
honestly, sometimes like she said, like you can search anything. Like I'll be bored sometimes, or I have some downtime, and I'll just watch random streams. I'll go through and I'll say hi to the chat, and people are like, "Oh, how'd you get here?" I'm like, I just watch random streams sometimes. And sometimes that's the best thing about Twitch. It's just going through and seeing what you find. You know, there's a huge grab bag of really entertaining people out there. So, yeah.
Well, we have actually a really, really big audience right now, and I'm sure that there are questions that people are waiting to ask. So if people from the audience actually want to step up and ask questions, and also people on Twitch, if you guys want to ask some questions as well, I'm reading the chat. So
I have the chat right here, actually. Hi Twitch. How
Yeah,
you
you
doing?
guys can, I guess, line up on both sides too.
Yeah,
so
both sides. We'll just go back and forth, I guess. Which side do
I don't
you want to start with?
We'll start on this side. He seemed very excited.
Hello guys, I'm the Crispy Tagger, or my real name is Jocelyn Lane. I've been following Gassy for 3 years now.
Wow.
And Renee, 8 months right after you stopped uploading.
Got him.
My question is basically, I've been uploading for 2 years now, and I've finally found a way to, I've gained quite a bit of an audience since my 40 subscribers. But what I wanted to know is, what is a good game to start out in game commentary? Because I finally have a gaming rig that's capable of actually playing and uploading at the same time. What is a good game to start out with in game commentary with your friends that's not cliche, so not Minecraft and under a $20 budget? So
Gary's Mod.
Garry's Mod
Do
is
it
an
up.
excellent game.
Garry's Mod. No,
Because not only is Garry's Mod, it has its own thing, but there are tons of add-ons that are free in the Steam Workshop.
Yeah.
Like tons and tons of
I
different
think
types
Garry's
of
Mod
games.
goes for like $10 now, something like that.
It's cheap.
Super cheap.
Even on like
and even
like
Steam sales, you can get it for like
you can get it
$2.
for- yeah.
And honestly, like it's the most bang for your buck. There's so much to play on there. Like there's prop hunt, there's murder, there's hide and seek, there's a new one that's come out. It's like a Bomberman type of game type. People are constantly creating content, and the great thing, it's all on the Steam Workshop, so it's all free. You know what I mean? So you can play a bunch of different stuff without having to, dip into your pockets.
There's also a lot of really great indie games on Steam, and they're
Yeah,
all
yeah.
like you can sort by like under $5.
Yeah.
And check out a game for $2 and just play that and then talk about it and say, hey, this is what this game's about. Because I know, like, for me, like when I'm looking at games and I'm looking at the reviews, I don't really trust reviews, so I'll just look up on YouTube, like, has anyone played this game? What's it look like? And I don't care what their channel size is. I just want to see what the game looks like. So.
Right. I was playing FTL and Mass Effect 1 on my gameplay commentary. I went through it and tried to do so. Mass Effect 1, I'm like, I've played this game for like 2 weeks in a row now. I can't play it again and provide good commentary. And
Yeah.
then I tried to play FTL, and it was just me screaming, son of a bitch, for 25 minutes. So that one had to get scrapped, and I was just, thank you guys so much.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for the
Yeah,
question.
no problem.
Over here.
You play with a bunch of different YouTubers like Steenanners and Gold Glove TV and Eat My Dicks One. How did you like meet them? Like, how did you like meet them and what also made you think just like, oh, this could be really good, and why don't we all just game together?
That's always kind of how I've been, is like I like gaming with other people. Like I said, I don't mind doing single player stuff, but I think naturally it's more exciting when you have other people and other personalities, intermingling and riffing off each other. How I met them, I knew Gold Glove before I knew Steenanners, but it's all just kind of networking on YouTube and going to conventions, to be honest. Like, before I started playing with Adam, I just saw him a couple times. I was at the Machinima offices. I visited, and then we saw him at different conventions and stuff like that. And just said like, hey, how's it going? Just being cool, chatting with him and stuff like that. And same thing with Brennan. Brennan, I think I met online only. And but yeah, the chance to meet them in real life, like at PAX and stuff like that. Not to say that it's impossible to find friends and stuff like that online, because there's plenty of people like Diction. I met him online. Gold Glove, voice crack again. Gold Glove. What's it called? I met him
Every
online.
single one of my
like
friends I met on the internet.
Yeah, I mean, we
met
on the
we
internet.
met on the
yeah.
internet.
So, yeah,
Just through like Twitter and
just through, like, it goes back to being open, being friendly. I know, like I said, that sometimes it's hard, especially for people who are naturally kind of antisocial. I used to be a lot more antisocial. For those of you guys that think I was always like this, no. This would have terrified me coming up on a stage and talking to people. So, yeah, just being open, being willing to meet other people and see what they're about.
There's also this weird thing where people get very they put people up on pedestals, like people like us on pedestals, and they treat us very differently than they would their other friends. So that's when I find that I meet somebody and they're if they want to just be, if they treat me like a normal person, I'm way more open to possibly like hanging out with them and talking with them more. But when it honestly, like, it doesn't freak me out, doesn't creep me out by any means, but when they're, if they're just like really fanning over me and being like, oh, starstruck and stuff like that, that really, like,
it's cool.
it's
Like,
something that I'm not used to. It catches me off guard still.
it's
so.
understandable, but you know what I mean. If like that's all anybody's about, like they just keep you on that pedestal, you know what I mean, and keep talking. Like, we're just regular people too.
It's a lot of pressure for me. So when I feel like I'm put on that pedestal, I feel like I don't know if I can ever relate.
Plus,
to
you don't
this
want to
person.
disappoint people.
Yeah,
you know
and I
what
don't
mean?
want to disappoint them. So it freaks. It's just weird. It's a really weird position to be in.
Yeah. So hopefully that answered your question. Thank you. Ooh, back over here.
Hey, yeah. First of all, I'd like to say I love all your guys' content. I watch you guys like all your streams.
Well, thank you very much.
No, thanks.
And, second of all, I'd like to propose an idea.
Go for it.
Indie Monday. Or
Indie
playing
Monday.
games Such as like Nidhogg, Ghost
With-
Simulator.
I've played a little bit of.
You wanted to do that arcade thing that
Oh
actually
yeah, the week of arcade. That never happened.
actually happened.
A long time ago on my channel, I put up a thing. I was going to do something similar like that, where I did a week of just arcade/indie games or whatever. So I've been thinking about that recently. I mentioned it to her actually before we came here. So that something like that might happen. Maybe not like a Monday thing or like a regular thing. Maybe depending on how it's received. But I kind of want to do a week of like arcade games and indie games, just just as a fun thing to do. So.
Yeah, I've considered doing that on my stream as well, doing like a dedicating one day for an indie game and you know, kind of categorizing each day. But then I find that I just want to play Dark Souls all week and hate myself.
Just throw yourself against the wall that is Dark Souls.
Yeah, I mean, I just think about it all the time. And
You think about it right now?
yeah, I'm thinking about it
Are you,
right
like,
now.
plotting
I'm
on
thinking
how you
about
can
how
dodge
the
and-
Capra demon is going to murder me at least 10 more times.
But yeah, I have thought about doing something like that.
Yeah, and the last thing is a question. Have you ever given thought to possibly having like a, I don't know, a friend group, kind of like the Creatures or like, you know, Yogscast, how they have that thing going, you know, with like you or Addiction or Gold Glove, you know, just having something that you could call a group?
I wouldn't personally ever want to be a part of a group like that.
Yeah.
I like being my own identity and I like playing with friends, but I don't like being tied down to a group. And it just, there introduces a lot of politics that can become very awkward and very difficult to.
There's risk. There's
fix.
risk.
There's a lot of risk.
You know,
yeah.
there's no guarantee that everybody in the group's going to get along or that everything's going to go honky-dory forever.
And I just don't want to tie myself or anyone down to doing that.
Yeah, it's definitely a risk. It's not something that's impossible to do, I would say. Look at Rooster Teeth. Like,
Yeah.
they started out as a bunch of dudes who just did machinima and stuff like that, and now they're massive, you know? They keep going strong. So I say if you have the right people and the right mindset, like similar, like-minded people that know how to work together, like be professional and still, you know, be cool as friends and stuff like that, it can work. But I'm enjoying being just myself, doing my own thing, and having a lot more freedom and just do whatever, you know. So it's not impossible, and I wouldn't discourage it to people. But know that when you're doing something like that, it's not nothing's guaranteed. You know what I mean? Like I said before. So it's not impossible, but it could definitely work out really well too.
All right, thank you for your time.
Back over here.
So, you guys, whether it be on Twitch or YouTube or Twitter or whatever, you get a lot of stupid comments.
Yeah, we do.
Stupid and negative comments. One of the worst of those probably being, like you said before, is all you do is play video games. Like, you don't do anything useful. Why don't you go out and
It's not a real job.
Got a real job, yeah.
But there's also a lot of positive stuff and praise that comes along with that. So could you think of like any specific comments or specific moments that like made you feel like really good about what you do, or like that you're just where you want to be or in the right place?
There's been a lot of that. Like I said too, like we said, it takes thick skin to do what we do, because you're constantly putting yourself out there. So you're always going to get stuff back, whether it be good or bad. But thankfully, the majority of it is really good. Like coming to a convention like this and being able to meet you guys and put a face to the people that comment or are in the chat on Twitch or whatever is amazing. It's awesome. Don't ever think we take you guys for granted. It's the reason we came out
I
to
can't
Atlanta.
say thank you to every single one of you that like, you know, like comments or say
Yeah.
something nice to me, but know that I read it and I definitely appreciate it.
We may not always respond. We may not always, you know, because it's impossible to do that. It'd be a full-time job. I might not remember your name if you introduce yourself to me, because I'm terrible at remembering names. So, but a specific moment or experience, we had that letter that was in that P.O. box from...
The one for Christmas?
Yeah. We had a mom that wrote to us. I can't remember her name, but she wrote to us and said, "My daughter's a huge fan of you guys. Christmas is coming up, and I know it would mean the world to her." I'm paraphrasing, but I know it would mean the world to her if you could, you know, sign this and just sign something back. And she had the postage. She had a stamp already set for us, so we're like, how can we not?
And she sent Zoe little toys and
Yeah.
Malcolm 2 little tennis balls, of
Yeah.
which he's already destroyed. But
Exactly.
Zoe
Yeah,
loves,
Malcolm loves
the
his tennis.
toys.
If you're watching, by the way, Malcolm loves those tennis balls. But yeah, we got that letter, so we're like, we both wrote a letter back, you know, with advice and just saying, awesome, thank you for watching us and stuff like that. And we sent it there, and thankfully it got there by Christmas.
Yeah,
and
we were
she
really-
was floored. She was amazed.
We were
that
really
we
worried it wasn't going to get there by Christmas. We
Yeah.
just sent it like overnight shipping for the letter and everything. We were
Yeah.
like really worried. We're like, oh no, it's not
Like,
going to get
oh,
there
we
in
got there.
time.
And then finally we
She's
got the letter back.
heartbroken.
Yeah, but that was really, really cool. It's really humbling sometimes. Like, I've gone through a lot of P.O. Box stuff and read letters, and though I may not respond to every single one, because like I said, it's a full-time job, and I have to balance time and stuff like that with working and doing that and having a life, you know. But don't think we don't read your guys' stuff. Don't think we don't see your comments just because we're not responding to every single person. But yeah, that's one specific memory that was really cool.
Okay, and just as far as Dark Souls, just you wait. Okay, I thought I was pretty good at Dark Souls.
I don't think I'm good at all.
I thought I was pretty good. when Dark Souls 2 came out, oh my god.
No spoilerino.
No spoilers. It has completely ruined my life.
I know.
Yeah.
I've seen man play through Dark Souls 2, and
Falling off bridges into lava over and over and over.
I
and over
see.
and
The
over.
my worst enemy is gravity. I've killed myself falling off of things more times than enemies have killed me.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks. Thanks for those
Thank
words
you.
of encouragement, man.
Thank you guys.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I'm curious into how you guys made your name. So I'm kind of more curious about accents.
How I made my name?
Oh, GassyMexican.
GassyMexican. It's just a silly name, to be honest. I'm half Mexican. You wouldn't know it by looking at me because I'm a tall, white-looking dude. Yeah.
He's quite gassy.
I'm half Mexican. I'm quite gassy. Renee can attest to this fact.
Yeah, he's trapped me in rooms.
Yeah, I trapped her in our bedroom before, actually several times.
Yeah.
And it's
I'll
not
like
on
I'll like
purpose.
be walking towards the doorway. He's like, "Don't go through there." I'm like,
At least I
"I need
warn
to
her,
go to
right?
the bathroom," and he's like, "No, don't."
You don't want it.
And I'll be like, "Oh, great."
I
I'll
could
just
be a
sit
dick
here.
and be like, yeah, come on through. And then just like, at least, to my credit, at least I warn you, right?
And my favorite is when I walk into his office and he's like, I just farted. And I'm just like, walk up and I'm about
You
to
might
ask him
not
a
want to
question.
be
I'm just
here
like,
right now.
and I leave. I slowly just back away.
Yeah.
That's the best.
Just a silly name. I thought it was interesting and funny, and it stuck. I thought it was something people would remember. So, and now people call me Gassy, and so when people are in earshot that don't know what's going on or who I am, they're like, who's Gassy? Why are they calling him Gassy? It's weird.
And one more thing, when y'all were talking about putting you on a pedestal, that's kind of what I did yesterday.
Yeah, it's understandable.
It's
Like,
understandable, and
get it.
I don't say that like if you do that, you know, I don't like you and I don't appreciate
Yeah,
it.
don't misinterpret what we said as
don't
far as
misinterpret
like
that
just.
at all. I
'cause it's
still
a-
really appreciate it.
We get that. We get that people, you know, it's like anyone else. There's people.
I was
if
the
met
same
them-
way when I first met Scene Anders or Adam, like
Yeah.
because he was the whole reason I started doing this. When I first met him, I was just like, I've been a fan of you for so long. But then like as I thought about it more, I'm like, wait, I'm gonna be hanging out with him and seeing him. I should probably tone it down and be a normal person. And yeah, so I completely understand. We've all done
Yeah,
that.
don't misinterpret us saying like, you know, people who fanboy and stuff like that, we don't like you or whatever. Like, we understand. It's like there's people, if I met them, like I'm a really big fan of the show Top Gear. I like that show, the UK one, not the American one. But I watch that show, and if I met any of those guys, I'd be like, oh, I watch your stuff all the time. I'm a big fan, you know. But yeah, so don't take that as like we don't like you guys if you do that. Yeah, no problem.
I wanted to know for the rest of the question and answer, can you use all of your different voices that you have?
Oh jeez. Do Morgan Freeman.
Well, I don't know, can I? Thank you for your question.
Alright, so adding on to that, you do a lot of voices.
Yes, I do. How are you doing?
You've done a lot of voice work, like you've been in advertisements for zoos.
Yeah. Tiger Safari. Come to the zoo.
And you were Lucius Fox in How It Should Have Ended.
Oh, yeah, I was. So back to the Morgan Freeman voice,
So
yeah.
how many companies have asked you to do any voice work?
Here and there, but
War
since
of the
I do...
Vikings.
Huh?
War of the Vikings. Maybe.
Well, yeah, I might, I don't know if I should talk about that, no.
Maybe.
Gordon Van Dyke, I think his name is, head of War of the Vikings, he talked to me about doing some silly lines and stuff like
Do
that
your,
for
do
War
your,
of the Vikings.
do your Skyrim voice. That's my favorite one.
Oh, the Skyrim Nord voice?
Yeah.
Yes, people have talked to me about doing voices in video games. What I'd really like to do after this, though, is get a strong glass of mead after this. So, if you'd like to, we could get some mead.
And now one more. I'm sure everyone wanted.
Stop it, you guys! Stop it!
Now do the Mickey Mouse voice.
Oh, hiya, fella. Hope you're enjoying yourself at GameVidExpo.
It's the creepiest
That's
thing
a
I've
lot
ever
of fun.
heard.
What's wrong, Renee?
You're a grown-ass man.
Just because I have a beard doesn't mean I can't talk like this. It's fun.
Oh God.
Thank you.
No problem.
Speaking about your voices, I want to know what motivated you into doing all these voices?
Basically...
She does voices all the time.
Yeah,
all
it
the-
started when I was a kid being bored, man. Like, like I'd watch cartoons and I'd watch like, you know, like The Simpsons and like Family Guy and stuff like in old cartoons, like just even like what's it called? I can't even think. Scooby-Doo, like stuff like that, anything like that. And I just do silly voices. They were terrible when I started, of
He
course.
just makes mouth noises, like
yeah,
when
I
he's
just make
not
mouth
thinking about
noises.
it.
Yeah, I'll be in the shower and I'll just be doing voices and stuff like that. So it just started as a way to entertain myself and something goofy to do. It still is that. But
Like a commercial will come on TV, a random commercial for nothing important, and he'll just like try and replicate the commercial, and I'll just be sitting like.
Or I'll
"Why?"
mention to her, I'll be like, the way this guy's talking right now, it's so weird. There's one for like Joseph A. Bank or something like that. But they're like, Joseph A. Bank, everything in the store is 15%. I'm like, why are you talking like that? Doesn't make any sense. But yeah, I tune into it. It's kind of a burden too, because since I'm so obsessed with like voices and delivery and like commercials and stuff like that, when I hear the radio, I can't tune out commercials. I have to listen to what they're doing, and I'm like, oh, well, this guy did a good job on this commercial. I'm a nerd about it, and kind of sometimes. But yeah, it started as something silly to do and entertain myself, and hopefully, you know, I'll probably do. I'm not going to stop doing voices. I'm sorry, Renee. I'm not going to stop doing
I know,
voices
you're
in the
never
shower.
gonna, it's fine.
It's not going to
Just
happen.
don't trap me in any rooms, please.
Yeah. But yeah, that's how it started.
I honestly do the same thing.
Yeah.
And, FB_, thank you.
to reference to a video.
_.
Gary's mod stuff. Okay.
Still going along with the voices, which one do you think would be your favorite to do? And
Impossible. Impossible to know. There's too many.
okay, then which would be the hardest?
The hardest? I don't know, because there's so many that it's not necessarily, I don't know, hard. Ugh. There's different things you have to do, like for each voice. Like for, say, Zoidberg, you have to keep your cheeks really relaxed, and it comes kind of like this. You see what I'm doing right now? Like, there's different techniques to each voice, and it's not necessarily super hard. It's just learning how to manipulate, you know, your mouth and your tongue and stuff like that, and just like different mouth positions.
SpongeBob
It sounds
laugh
really
is like
weird
that
when I'm
too.
saying that, but yeah, what? Oh yeah, SpongeBob like laughed up like that. I have to jiggle my throat for the laugh. Like it's so. There's different techniques and things you have to do for it. So yeah.
Thank you. Hi. What was the first video game that you ever played, and how did you initially get into playing video games?
The first video game I ever played. You go.
Well, I mean, the first game I ever played was Duck Hunt, but that doesn't really count.
Duck Hunt, yeah.
The first game I remember playing and falling in love with was Donkey Kong Country on the.
I played that too.
I believe the Super
Played the crap out of
Nintendo.
that game.
Yeah, that was my favorite game. I love that game more than I do the Mario series. I love Donkey Kong, so that was like one of the games where I like made an effort to actually like beat and like 100% like get all the stuff. Like I had like a game guide and everything, and a Game Shark and all that cool. Not Game Shark, it's for N64, but like all that, I don't know, extra stuff. But yeah, that was one of the games that just made me fall in love with gaming.
I played Ski on like the old Mac.
Ski?
Yeah, Ski. People know what I'm talking about.
I don't know
Or
what
was
you're
that Windows? I think that would have been Windows. I don't know. Is that Windows? That's Windows. Okay, so Ski. I also did play like the old. I don't remember what it was called. This was on the Mac. It was like that kids game or whatever where you like could like color stuff, and it was something like that.
Picto?
But, huh?
Not Picto.
No, I think it was something different. I can't remember what it was called. But I had a TurboGrafx 16 where I played Bonk's Adventure and stuff like that, and old school games like that. But yeah, I started really early playing video games. It's hard to tell what specific one was first, but those are some of the early ones that I played.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of prep work and prep time goes into making your Twitch streams and your YouTube videos?
I'm gonna field that to her because she has a lot cooler setup and stuff like that. She's a big perfectionist when it comes to that, and it's not a bad thing at all. But
I'm an enormous perfectionist, and one of the things that I need for my channel is a high production value. So I have like the prep time for me is it's way easier now because I know how to do it. But when I was first doing it, I have to set up all my lights. I have to make sure my face is evenly lit. I need to make sure my green screen is evenly lit. I need to make sure the green screen doesn't look like crap in the actual program. And then I have to set up my sub notifications, so when people subscribe to my channel, I get the notification down. I have to make sure my chat is in the right window. I have to lay out all my windows on my monitors, and then make sure that the game I want to play actually plays on. As anyone who's ever been to a Fucked Up Friday, you know that it doesn't always work that way. The games sometimes just want to break. I mean, that's. When I first started doing that, that was really difficult, especially with using the green screen. It's a kind of a pain in the butt, but yeah, now it's a bit easier for me.
Also, what's your worst death in Dark Souls?
My worst death?
Where like you thought you were gonna win, like you were that close, maybe something like that too.
Oh, that was when I was fighting the gargoyles. I had to like hit him like 2 or 3 more times maybe, and I rolled off the roof. That was the worst. And it took me like 20. It took me like 4 hours to try and get through that one boss. And that one was really, really annoying. Now I'm stuck on the Capra Demon, who I could have beaten on my last stream if I had hit him one more time, and then I missed my dodge roll, and he hammered my character into the floor.
It took me 3 hours to realize I can use Lightning Pine Resonance Layer on the gargoyles.
For the first like 2 hours I played the game, I had no idea you could sprint. So when I was played that first Minotaur that you're supposed to run to the ladder and climb up and then jump on him, I was just walking there. And everyone in the chat was like, what is she doing? And I wasn't looking at it because I didn't want to get spoiled. And then they're like, one of my friends was like, you know you can sprint, right? I'm like, what? There's a sprint? It's like, this is way easier. So yeah, that's been my Dark Souls experience.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hello. My question is, you know, we up-and-comers hear a lot that the best thing for us to do is to be ourselves as streamers or YouTubers and not try to be anybody else. Well, I curse a lot during my casts.
Yep.
And I'm a little worried that that might take away from my marketability from game developers and things of that nature. So my question is, did you guys curse a lot when you started, and you know, did it affect your relations with developers and things like that?
Sometimes it can. I mean, we still curse a lot. Yeah, I mean that happens. But sometimes it can. But if they don't really want me to be like, if I can't really be myself while I'm playing a game, it depends. If like it's a really good game, maybe, and they're like, you know, they want me to play it, and like I want to play it, and I want people to see it and stuff like that or whatever. Maybe I'll tone it down a little bit, but you know, I'm never gonna pretend to be something that I'm not, if that makes sense.
I tried one night and it didn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in our experience, game developers, for the most part, are just like us. I mean, they curse too. They get frustrated with games, and they yell at their friends and all that stuff. So. The one thing that I've noticed is that when a developer wants us to play a game, they want us to be ourselves. They want it to be as organic as possible, because that gets the best reaction out of the viewers as well when we're just being us. Because you guys aren't dumb. You guys know if we're putting on a front or if we're not being us, because you guys know who we are. You've watched our stuff. So
yeah. So if I'm all of a sudden like, oh gosh darn it, guys,
oh
gee
golly
willikers, I fell down the well, like.
But
you know,
I mean,
something's up.
There
like.
have been times where we've had to do something and they've asked us to not curse, and that's something that
or
I
just
can
like
do.
certain things to
yeah,
tone it
for like
down,
a single spot or like some sort of thing. Like, but if they want me to like play through an entire game and not curse once, I'll be like, that's not going to happen. It slips out of my mouth. It just happens. So.
And finally.
That is the best Donald
That
Duck.
was amazing. Give him a hand, guys. Give him a hand. That was awesome. He slipped it right in there. Sneaky devil. That was awesome, dude.
Okay, so we're almost out of time, so we have time for maybe one last question, and then we unfortunately have to move on, but please go ahead.
So, what's it like having to deal with Adam and his shenanigans, scumbag personality?
Well,
there's a reason I quit YouTube. I'm just kidding.
No, Adam's a strange person. Yeah.
He's literally one of the weirdest dudes in the entire world.
In a good way.
Yeah, in like the best way possible.
The good thing is that I like weird. I'm a weird guy myself. So Adam in the game, like he can do like stupid stuff and things to like, you know, get under our skin or whatever. But in real life, he's a nice guy. He's not like haha Max, here's traffic. You know what I mean? Like like he's not trying to do any of that in real life. That stays in the game world. I think the game world, and I've mentioned this in videos before, like if he didn't have that world, who knows? He could be a murderer.
Yeah, you could. If he
like,
didn't have that outlet to let his
outlet. That's how he lets it all out.
Sneaky snake come out, then he'd probably be a great lawyer or something.
Yeah, so I mean, it's got to go somewhere, and it's good that it stays in video games, because otherwise, who knows? He could be locked up right now if that were not the case. But it's fun playing with him. It's cool.
The Montoya murderer.
The Montoya murderer. Yeah, it's even got a name. Jeez. But yeah, thank you for your question.
Thank you for your time.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
All right, guys. Well, that unfortunately will wrap up this panel because we're out of time. But guys, give it up one more time for Renee and Gassy.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
Up next on the main stage, we'll have Aurelian, and in case you guys are wondering what signing is going to go on right now, it'll be Minecraft. So stay tuned.
Thank you,
Thanks, guys.